All right, hi you guys. Time for a morning mat class. So we're going to start actually lying down as we often do with our breath work. But before you lie down, make sure you have something that you can use between the knees for inner thigh activation. It could be a rolled up towel, a block, a ball. If you like to use weights for any of the arm motions, have some weights nearby. And then a little padding under the back of your head if you prefer. Maybe something to sit on. Yeah. All righty. So go ahead and lie down and stretch out, and do actually stretch out long at first. Unless it hurts the low back or feels bad for your hips, allow the legs to fully extend along the ground. When you're in that stretched out position, have an easy breath in, and then just sigh the breath out. Feel that the whole body is open in front and supported from beneath. We're just going to do a little bit of movement through the feet, So with the feet, we're going to flex the toes up. I'll stick my feet in the air on the inhale, and then exhale, point the toes away. Flex the toes up as you breathe in, and as you breathe out, point the toes away. Now you're lying down, you're resting into the ground. I was just demonstrating the action of the feet. Hey, Carol. Pull the inhales down through the back of the heels as you pull the toes up. And as you exhale, point through the toes, feel the feet becoming active, breath traveling up in the direction of your head through the crown. So we're not getting really specific with our core connection, but we're definitely feeling the inhale drop down through the heel, the exhale rise up through the crown. Do one more of these where you inhale, flex the toes back, and exhale, point the toes away. And then just relax the feet. So if my hands, the bottom of my hands or the soles of my feet, this is what your feet would be doing. We'll take both sets of toes over to one direction, rolling across the back of the heels, then the other direction. So you have this little rocking under the back of the heels, under the back of the thighs, and maybe under the back of the hips, just a smidge, and that's okay. You want to feel like your femur bones can roll laterally in the hips, in and out a couple more times. In fact, one more time to each side. And then when you're finished with that, bend your knees and put the soles of your feet flat on the floor. With the soles of the feet flat, extend the arms forward. And again, you're lying down, but I'll mimic what you're doing in the seated position. You're going to imagine you have a big, heavy rope suspended above the center of your chest. You're going to reach for it with one arm, grab tight, and haul it back towards you. Reach forward with the other arm, grab onto that imaginary rope and haul it back. And so you're getting a little bit of a twist in the waist. As you reach for the rope with one arm, the back of the shoulder will probably lift from the mat, and that's okay. It's a way of putting a little bit of twist not only into the waist, but into the shoulder girdle, and a little bit of movement into the neck. 2 more times, right and left, or left and right, depending on where you started. And then when you finish that last time, bring your hands down and rest one hand on the chest, just below the collarbones, and the other hand on the belly, in between the hip points on the front of the pelvis. Breathe in. And then as you breathe out, have a sort of sighing quality and feel both of those areas melt without contracting. So that's a crucial difference. Do that another time. Inhale, feel the ability for those areas to gently open and accommodate the breath. And then release the exhale in a kind of sigh, softening the areas fall inward without pressing or straining. At this point, you can put your hands down by your sides. Breathe in through the nose. When the lungs are full, pause for a moment and kegel, very lightly contracting pelvic floor. Maintain that as you exhale, and maybe slightly round the lips, like you're blowing out a candle. Inhale when it's time. Breath moving down through that open chest space toward the belly. Slightly rounded lips like you're blowing out a candle. Kegel and exhale. Continue this, maybe 3 or 4 more rounds. Maintain that precision in your Kegel and the steadiness of the exhale. So again, using the imagery of blowing out a candle, you wouldn't want to have a lot of starts and stops in the breath. You don't want to spray wax on the wall, right? You want to have it smooth. One more round of breath in, moving the air down through the sides of the ribs. And then the breath out, holding tone in pelvic floor. Grab your ball or a block or whatever you're using between the inner thighs or knees and get it in place. You want to hold whatever that object is very lightly. So you're not trying to crush it or get real aggressive with the hips. We just want to feel like we have an awareness of inner thigh line as a continuity of our midline down through the lower extremities. Breathe in. Kegel, and begin to lightly squeeze whatever that is between the inner thighs, and exhale and make your imprint as well. So we're multitasking now. Hold your imprint, inhale in place, aware of your Kegel and your inner thigh line. Exhale, return to neutral. In neutral, inhale, feel the placement of feet against the ground. From that placement, you begin to squeeze the block as you Kegel, and that exhale connects not only your core, but your imprint muscles on the surface of the lower belly, drawing the low back flatter toward the mat. Maintain this position and inhale. And then as you exhale, maintain core as you return to neutral. Please do 2 more rounds of this imprint and release. Moving only on the exhale breath. An awareness to the internal muscles that define your core, as well as the external muscles in the lower part of the belly and waist. The last imprint, I'd like you to hold, please. So if you've already released it, go ahead and make another one. As you lie here in imprint, feel that the breath connection is continuous. And when you inhale, imagine that the breath can move down behind the back of your heart, through the space behind your navel, and down through the back of the hips, elongating the tailbone. Hold that length, and as you exhale, feel the breath rising from pelvic floor, behind the navel, under the base of the heart, under the jawline, and through the dome of your head. So in this way, with that breath connection down and up, we get a length down and up. Have one more exhale, squeezing the ball a little bit more firmly, feeling the belly contraction draw inward. Inhale, aware of your feet. Exhale, return to neutral. Grab the weights in your hands if you're going to use them, and extend the arms forward. We'll start here with some triceps work. So you're lying back, you still have the ball, and we're going to keep the upper arms extended forward. Yeah. Have an exhale here in preparation for your movement, aware of your legs, from your connection to core. And on your inhale breath, bend the elbows, allowing a stretch behind the upper arms and a release in the margins of the shoulders. Then Kegel, exhale, specifically squeezing the triceps, back of upper arms, stretching, lengthening the elbows. Continuing here, inhaling to bend the elbows. Another opportunity to relax and open across the chest. Aware of the triceps, aware of your core, you straighten the elbows without straining the shoulders, the neck, or arching the lower ribs forward. Please do 2 more. When you extend those arms the last time, continue to use the triceps, and then keeping the softness in the shoulders. On an inhale breath, reach the arms back or overhead. Kegel, squeeze the block, exhale, return, arms coming forward to vertical. And keep that going. We do 4 of these guys as well. And this one, of course, you're still aware of the triceps, but it's a lot about allowing proper mobility in the shoulders and maintaining good connection through posture and breath to core support. With the last one, bring the arms all the way down by your sides. And maybe put the weights down for a moment. We're going to lie in side lying and do spinal rotation. Just a way to twist and open up the midsection. Once you're lying on your side, we'll have the shoulders, hips, and knees stacked. You can maintain something between the knees or replace it. The arms will extend forward. And you can hold weights in your hands here as well. With the arms extending forward, be careful that they don't strain forward and create a line of tension across the neck and a hunch. Retract the shoulder blades and feel the chest opening and the head resuming its neutral line. Just once here, exhale, get your Kegel and lightly press the knees against each other or against the block or ball. And then on your inhale, begin turning the head to look at that top arm as it rises upward. From the top of your spine, exhale, begin opening through the chest, the middle part of the ribs, the bottom of the ribs, maybe the lower part of your waist. Hold here, inhale, Kegel. Exhale, inner thighs active, return. Bottom to top, realigning into neutral. Allow the top arm to lower and the head to look forward. Inhale, turn the head and lift the arm. With exhale breath, begin to sequentially open into rotation through the spine. Relax the outer hips. Hold the open position and inhale, full breath in. Kegel, exhale and return. Do 2 more repetitions, so a total of 4, please. Lying on your side and opening, falling back into gravity. Yes?
Joyce, can you explain that again? We're supposed to be laying down and the arms open out and then come up.
So go ahead and sit up for a moment. So we're lying down. The arms are in front.
Oh, we're on our side.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought we were still on our back.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I couldn't tell from my screen if you were lying on your back or your side, so I apologize for that. Just to be clear, lie on your side. And from now on, I'll just go ahead and do the initial position for each of the movements that we're doing. Inside lying, knees, hips, shoulders stacked, arms in front with or without weights. Inhale, begin to turn the head and lift the top arm toward the ceiling. And as you exhale, continue that opening rotation, the top side of the torso falling back toward the ground. You hold the open twist, take a full inhale, and then exhale, return. And I think I see everyone having it now. Yeah. 4 total, or however many you did to the first side. And when you're done with that last one, good, go ahead and lie on your backs. I'll give you a moment to get there, especially if you wanted to do a twist on the first side that you didn't get to do. We'll take it into some hip rolls. So let's keep the block between the knees or maybe the feet. Starting in a neutral position. If your head is resting on something, you don't want it to be elevated a lot above the level of your shoulders. So you might lower that down or just remove it altogether. Inhale and exhale, freeing up the axis of the hips, aware of the feet against the ground. Breathe in. Very lightly begin to hold the block, Kegel, and flex the spine. So you're moving through your imprint first. Go as far as you can go, rolling through the spine and hips through that first exhale. And when you run out of exhale, pause. Inhale, an opportunity to relax across the width of the shoulders. Find your feet. Kegel, exhale, push directly down through the bottom of the feet as you continue to bend the spine and extend the hips. So on your way up, after the hips find their extension, the spine will also return to neutral. Well, the most part of the spine, you'll still have flexion at the base of the neck. Inhale here, Kegel, squeezing the block from the feet. Exhale, roll down. And same thing here, as you roll down, when you reach that point where you've run out of exhale, pause, breathe in here, and continue that motion downward into the mat with the following exhale breath. Keep going, just twice more. Exhale, start to roll up. Now, it could be that you feel like when you start to use your feet, you also feel like you're pushing your body weight into your neck, or your shoulders are scooching away from your feet. If you find that that's the case for you, feel that you are pulling the back of your thighs towards your calves. You're still doing all the other things, extending the hips and rising into neutral spine. Take a breath at the top. And exhale, add that additional component of hamstrings to calves, like you're squeezing the back of that joint together. And exhale, roll down. And see if it doesn't keep your weight more vertical through the soles of the feet rather than sliding up and down the mat. One more repetition, please. Sequentially articulating the spine in and out of flexion. When you've returned to neutral at the bottom, go ahead and put the ball or block off to the side. Extend one leg down the mat and keep a neutral posture. We'll do hip release here before moving on. You can begin with the leg of your choice. I'm just going to start with the leg that's closest to the screen for the sake of the argument here. Have an exhale breath. And on the inhale, drop the bent knee out to the side. Slide the foot down. On the exhale, roll it inward so the knee and the thigh point toward the midline, and draw the heel up. Inhale, bent knee drops out to the side, the leg extends down. Exhale, roll inward and draw the leg back up. And do two more in the external initiated direction. Now, because I'm wishing I had my second cup of coffee, I'm thinking about balancing that cup of coffee on the flat part of the front of my pelvis and not tipping it around as I move my leg. When you've completed your fourth one, pause, continue with the same leg and reverse the direction. Inhale, drop the knee inward, don't spill your coffee, slide the leg down. Exhale, turn outward, relaxing through the jawline, the shoulders, the throat. Bring the heel up And please do 3 more in this opposite direction. Mm-hmm. Having done the final repetitions on the first side, you'll go ahead and bend the leg that's extended and trade out. So now you're doing the new side. Square off the posture, inhale and exhale. Put length up through the spine. And then beginning in the outward direction, inhale, drop the bent knee out to the side, away from the midline. Slide the leg down. On the exhale, roll inward from the hip joint and draw the heel. Here it's another calf to thigh. As you return to where you started from, inhale, drop out, slide down. Exhale, roll in. Using your hamstrings, pull your heel up under the pelvis and do a total of 4. And when you've done your final one, you can reverse right away. No need to rush. And when you're ready, you just continue in the inward direction, still starting with your inhale. The exhale brings you out and up. And if that goofy imagery of coffee cups sitting on the front of your belly is helpful, continue to use it. When you've done your last one, we'll go ahead and come to hands and knees and do a cat and cow stretch. Cat and cow from yoga. You do a flexion and an extension. Yeah. If your wrists are a little cranky about being flexed to that degree, right, you can do a couple of things. A, don't hyperextend your elbows. So rather than the inside of the elbows facing forward, you want the inside of the elbows facing inward, and that allows a little bit of unlocking through the wrists and the shoulder tops. And if all else fails, you can be on your fists. Yeah. So from hands and knees, center your weight, inhale. Your gaze is forward on the ground between the fingertips. As you exhale, start with the bottom of the spine and begin to flex. It's like that hip roll motion that we did. Sequentially flexing the spine forward. And when you've dropped the head down, you're looking at the space between your knees. You hold the flexed curve and inhale. Kegel. Exhale, begin with the pelvis, leveling out to neutral. Maintain internal connection, a sense of integration between the pelvis, the waist, the ribs, open the shoulders, square the head, and then inhale, retract the shoulder blades a little bit. Unshrugging, opening the chest as you extend the upper spine. Release, and repeat that whole sequence twice more. Exhaling to round forward. Make sure that you take the gaze, the head with the curve that's in the larger part of the spine. Hold here, inhale, and then exhale, return through neutral. Allow the shoulders to adapt, and then engage the bottom of the shoulder blade muscles to lift and project the chest forward and upward, extending upper spine. One more set, please. Returning through neutral and continuing. When you've completed your last round, turn around and lie onto your back, please. Ball between the knees or block between the knees is optional. We'll be doing, pardon me, gonna sneeze. We'll be doing some head nods in preparation for ab prep forward. So you might wanna get that helpful stabilization through the lower body. Arms are by your sides. And once you've laid down into neutral, knees are bent, we're going to just articulate the head on that top vertebra. Yeah. So keeping the rest of the spine nice and stable, we've prepared with an exhale. And now on the inhale, lightly engage the muscles underneath the throat to draw the chin downward. Back of the head is still on the mat, and the back of the neck and shoulders are soft. Exhale, release. Inhale, nod the head, engaging lightly the muscles that tilt the head downward. And then exhale, return to neutral. Do this 2 more times. It's a little bit of a shifting on the back of the head. If your eyes are centered within the sockets, as you tilt the head down, of course your gaze will shift, maybe 20 degrees, and then release. 1 more. At this point, take your hands behind your head and feel that the hands are supporting the base of the skull, that area that was responding to the nod. Yeah. So nod your head 1 more time here and feel a lifting and opening at the vertebra, the base of your skull, the back of your top of the back of your neck. Kegel, exhale, begin to squeeze the block and bend forward through the upper body. You've already set the head position. Now we're bending through the ribs. At the top, inhale, you're looking over the tops of your knees. Kegel, squeeze the block. Exhale, breath rising, and as it passes upward through the bottom of the ribs, you continue to lower as you finish the exhale. Inhale, draw the chin downward, lengthening and opening the top of your cervical spine. Kegel, exhale, breath rising upward. You bend forward without shifting the head forward on the spine or crushing the front of your neck. Inhale, Kegel, exhale, and lower. So we're moving very slowly through this set of ab prep. We won't always move this slowly through flexion, but for now, that's what we're doing. Please do 2 more. Feel that all of these little movements that comprise the larger flexion work together with each other. The head nod informing the rest of your spine of the direction that you're going to move. The breath as you feel it rising and passing through the chest, giving a cue for your movement. When you finished your last one, pause. Put your block off to the side. Stretch your legs out and roll over to lie face down. Prone here, you might not want that blanket under your head anymore, although a little bit under the forehead can make space for your nose. We'll have the arms by the side, stretched out nice and long. We'll have the legs stretched out below, the hips as well, so you can do a little bit of scooching around if you like to find that full extension of the hips. Change my camera angle just a smidge. There we go. We're going to practice the shoulder placement, sort of like we practice the head nod as a preface to flexion. So here, with the legs stretched, your spine neutral, pubic bones forward into the ground, start with the shoulders slumped. And as you inhale, roll the tops of the shoulders up, open them to the back, widening across the collarbones, and stretch through the length of your arms. Find your triceps. Exhale, release. Do that just 2 more times. Inhale, finding the muscles between the middle and bottom of the shoulder blades, opening the chest, finally stretching the elbows, the wrists, the fingers, and let that go. So we're consciously waking up the shoulder girdle. Inhale, this time we keep that, placing the shoulders, stretching the arms, And rather than relaxing the shoulders forward on exhale, slide the bottom of the shoulder blades toward the bottom of the ribs, projecting the chest forward and upward, long, neutral, and relaxed through the neck. Inhale, exhale, and lower. As the chest and head lower, you can relax the shoulders forward. Stretch through the legs, point your toes as you inhale, and stretch through the arms and pick up your hands. Exhale, glide the shoulder blades toward the bottom of the ribs and keep pulling the legs away from the hips. Tailbone stretching toward the space where you're squeezing your heels together. Hold, inhale, and exhale, lower. We do 2 more. Inhale, placing the shoulders. As you exhale and begin to lift the spine, bringing the chest to a hover, remain aware of the back of the arms. Keep open through the front of the shoulders, no tension or resistance here. And then exhale and lower. On this last one, we'll add a little something for the back of the shoulders. Inhale, pick those arms up. Exhale, come into your extension. Now holding at the top, we're going to pulse the back of the arms up, not tensing the neck or the top of the chest. We simply stretch, widen the shoulders, and exhale. Lift the arms up just an inch or 2. Inhale, lower that inch or 2. And 2 more times, exhale, lift. Inhale. Do the last time, lift and hold the lift. And notice if you're locked in your spine, you should feel stretched in your spine. Use your Kegel, use your breath to pull your head away from your tail. And then exhale and rest down. Put your hands to the ground and slide back. Sit into a shell stretch. So we're going to round most deeply through the middle back, between the bottom of the ribs and the bottom of the shoulder blades. You can press lightly with your fingertips into the ground. It could be that sitting on your heels like that isn't so comfortable for the spine or for your knees. We can still stretch the spine in a seated position, sitting on the back of our hips. Pull back a little bit if that feels better. And then from wherever you are, walk your hands in and your spine stacks up. Please roll over and lie onto your backs. Have your weights nearby. Start in a neutral position and maybe a block between the knees just at first. You're going to remove it pretty quickly if you're using it. Alrighty, breath in, breath out, establishing neutral and reestablishing your awareness of core. Take a breath, and on your exhale, your next exhale, make your imprint. Pulling the lower spine, the back of the pelvis toward the ground. Might touch it, might not. You go as far as you can maintain with your abs, without pushing through your feet or squeezing through your bum. All right, so make it be about the abs. And then on the next exhale, if you're holding your block, you can squeeze it. We'll all go ahead and lift our heels. Feel the relationship between the hamstrings and the calves. And then on the next exhale, activate the arches, press all the way to the tips of the toes. Inhale, roll the balls of the feet back down, and exhale, lower the heels. Now we'll lift the heels on the inhale. We're still imprinted here. And exhale, come to the tips of the toes. Inhale, lower to the balls of the feet. And exhale, center the heels. Do that one more time. Articulating through the feet, feeling the relationship between the calves, the back of the hamstrings, and trying to stay long and open through the front and back of the hips. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh, you shouldn't use your hip flexors or whatever as you lift your legs to tabletop, because obviously we're flexing in the hips. Put your block off to the side if you're using it. You can help your hips out though and use the muscles that we're making these actions happen with. Very awkwardly phrased. You can help those muscles out by exhaling and lifting all the way to the tips of your toes, so you're not just pulling the leg up with one set of muscles in the front of the hips. You're assisting with the foot and taking some of the weight of that leg in the other muscles. On the next exhale, lift the second leg up. Drawing the knees together, you might even very lightly press or smooth with your hands through the outer thighs and hips. Flex the toes back on your inhale, and exhale, point the toes and feel your weight and energy being drawn down through the hips into the legs. Extend your arms forward. On your inhale breath, reach the arms back. On your exhale breath, wait until you feel that length. Your kegel, you feel persistent connection in the inner thighs, and then return the arms forward. We do just 2 more of these guys. Reaching back. Exhale and return. Last one. Inhale, reach back. And exhale, return. Bring the arms down. Place the weights on the ground if you're using them. Stretch the arms forward again. This time the palms face toward the legs. Inhale, reach the arms back. Feel the easy glide of the arms in the shoulders. And then nod the head, and as you exhale, reach the arms forward, not bending forward from the mat, but just lift it, keeping them lifted an inch or 2 from the ground. Inhale, shrug the shoulders up, and exhale, unshrug the shoulders. We'll do that another time, and if you'd like to bend forward, ready for the 100, you can do that. Inhale, shrug the shoulders up. Exhale, set the shoulders, release through the spine, maybe bending forward. Continue. Inhale, breathing in 5 times as you pulse the arms. Exhale, same. Ten sets of those. And again, even if the head isn't lifted, with the pulse breathing, with the imprint and the legs supported by that imprint and everything below, you should feel that this is work for your core. The bending forward is just kind of the cherry on top. When you've done that last set of 5 breaths in and 5 breaths out, inhale long and slow, stretching the arms, opening the chest, maybe bending a little bit more forward, and then exhale, roll down and rest your arms by your sides. Good. You can stretch your legs out long, or you can simply drop the knees to each side, both in the same direction. And we'll come up to a seated position. We'll do our good old half roll back. You can sit on something if you like that's a little better for your hips. No weights, nothing funny. Right? On top of the sitting bones. Once you've gotten up here, maybe do a little shoulder orientation. You can slide them forward and back, and then find where you want them to be. Extend the arms forward. Have the palms up at first, and draw the chest open, And then rotate the palms downward, keeping the openness across the front of the shoulders. Inhale. Exhale. Begin to roll back, contracting your lower abs to pull the pelvis away from the thighs. Feel the connection moving upward under the ribs, and that connection in the ribs should comfortably support the weight of the head and the shoulders. Inhale here, Kegel, exhale, and return. Prepare and continue. Inhale, exhale, roll back. Try to take any flat spots out of the lower half of your spine and integrate the curve smoothly through its length. Inhale here, Kegel, exhale, and return. One more. Exhale, roll back. Take a breath. Exhale and bend as you return. Retract the shoulder blades. Place the hands under the base of the skull. Different version. Exhale, roll back the same way. Go to that point where you stopped initially. Then we're going to bend forward at the bottom of the ribs like we're doing an ab prep over our pelvis and legs. Exhale. Feel like you're going to bring your forehead to touch your knees by bending through the length of your rib cage. When you're back on top of your sitting bones, inhale, lengthen upward. And repeat, exhale, roll back. Breath in here. And then exhale, bend the upper spine. Integrate that curve with the shoulders, the back of the neck and head. Inhale up. And then please do one more. Exhale, roll back. As you bend forward, when you get to that point, it should feel like a pretty good stretch, a pretty deep flexion for the whole length of your spine. Go ahead and do that. Head supported, of course. And then when you've rolled up, lower your arms. Good. Extend the legs out in front. We'll do twisting, and you can either have the arms open to the side or the palms pressing together. Remember that you can support the weight of the arms and the shoulders by connecting into the ribs and the muscles below the shoulders. If it's hard this morning for you to find that connection, here's probably a better position because we don't want to pull the neck. We'll inhale here, and on the exhale, begin to twist from the bottom of the waist, turning the spine in one direction. Keep your gaze forward. Inhale, exhale, unwind the turn. Take a breath, we go in the other direction. Exhale, grow a little taller, twisting in the opposite way. I'm running into my dresser. Inhale, and exhale, return. Continue. Keep a steady placement of your sitting bones. So we're not rolling from one side or the other, nor are we shifting forward and back. The twist is in the waist. And the muscles that are supporting the weight of your shoulders and your neck are also getting strengthened. Do the second side one more time. And when you finish that second side, go ahead and lower your arms. We're going to lie back right away into a neutral posture and do some shoulder bridge. You can always, I might forget to say it, but you can always use that little prop for the inner thighs. In fact, it's probably more useful if I tell you when you shouldn't use it. We'll be lying on our back. Because we're bridging the hips upward, you might want to lower or eliminate the mat behind your head. I'm going to keep a little bit. Place your feet and feel like the feet are oriented vertically, right, into ground rather than off to the side or just kind of on the heels. Inhale in place. Kegel, and now as you exhale and support neutral posture, we're going to push down through the soles of the feet and lift the back of the hips. Come to the top and make sure that you're not pushing with the arms in a way that slides the shoulders together or forward. Inhale and exhale, lower. Neutral through the spine, all the way up and all the way down. At the bottom, have a full breath in. Exhale and then hinge up. Breath at the top. Squeeze the block if you're using it. Kegel and release through the hips. You're controlling with the muscles in your pelvis rather than gripping the muscles that surround the hip joints. Please do one more repetition of shoulder bridge. When you've lowered from this one, go ahead and sit up for me, please. So we're going to turn over and come to hands and knees and do a couple things that's going to prepare us for working the side of the waist. Yeah. So we'll do just a little shoulder orientation from our hands and knees position. You can tuck your toes or not, whatever feels good. I like to stretch the bottom of my toes here. And from a neutral position, without locking the elbows, you can do this on fists. We're simply going to retract and then protract the shoulder blades. So, aligning, have an exhale. And then on purpose, inhale and spread across the chest, retracting the shoulder blades back. Your ribs will slide forward through the shoulders. As you exhale, go the other way. Begin pushing the floor, sliding the rib cage back behind the shoulders, relatively speaking. And do that a couple more times. Inhale, shoulders slide behind or toward the back of the ribs. And exhale, they go the other way. And ideally, just like in shoulder bridge, as we do all this manipulation with the shoulders this time, we're maintaining neutral posture. When you've done your last one, go ahead and unshrug the shoulders. Feel your weight moving, or your sense of your weight moving into length through the neck. And then go the other way. Feel your weight shifting back towards your hips as you shrug. Unshrug, shifting weight forward. And shrug. Unshrug, inhale, and then exhale, go ahead and sit back down. Okay, so we got two things going on here. We got the shrugging and unshrugging. We've got the forward and the back, or the protraction and retraction of the shoulder blade. So shoulders are tricky because we want to get right in the center of all of those available ranges of motion because we're going to be bearing weight on one arm. Yeah. Now, what I will say is if bearing weight on the length of the arm is a little bit unstable or not quite where you need to go today, you can always do this on the elbow, and I'll give a visual for that as well. But at first, we're going to start with the plain vanilla, right? No fancy stuff version. Because we're going to be on the knees, you might want to put a little padding underneath them. I do. Yeah. Okay. So I know I'm a little whopper-jawed with regard to my mat, but my hand and my knees are on the same plane. And that plane is where I'm going to press my hips forward to as I come into essentially another bridge. But for now, my rear end is behind my shoulders and my knees. Yeah. As I come up, and I'm going to keep my top hand on the top of my pelvis at first, I'm going to press down into the hand, into the knees, extend the hips, bringing them forward, and then finally into a side plank line, right? At the top, I'm going to inhale and then exhale, bend at the hips, pulling them back and allowing them to lower down. Yeah, now if you're doing this on the elbow, right, it'll look like this, and I'm a little too close. It'll look like this, right? Still in a side plank, still orienting and stabilizing the shoulder. Okay, so let's do this. Here we go. Top hand to the crest of the hip. Take a breath, open the shoulders, and then exhale, press down through the hand and through the knees, extending the hips and coming all the way into a balanced, neutral position. The shoulder is not shrugging. It's not falling forward or back. It's just open. We inhale and exhale and lower. 2 more on this side. Prepare with the breath in, and then exhale using the core, using the legs. Squeeze the inner thighs, beginning to lift and extend the hips forward as you press the floor down with the hand and orient the shoulder. Exhale and lower. Please do again. And when you've lowered, pause. And turn around to the other side. Okay. So I'm gonna have the top hand on the pelvis. Find the correct placement for the shoulder. Kegel, inhale, and exhale, begin to press down into the ground to float the hips up and extend completely into neutral. Inhale, feel like you've got the muscles on the bottom side of the waist firming and lengthening. And then keep that as you exhale and lower the hips back down. Take a breath. As you exhale and lift into your side plank, the stabilizers outside on the torso are working just as hard as the core on the inside. Exhale and lower. Please do a final repetition. And when you've lowered, pause. And shake out your wrists. We're going to roll over and lie onto our bellies and do some extension from prone, a second version. We'll start with the legs. Remember the dual support internally through the core and externally through the sides of the waist. We'll rest the forehead on the hands. Find that long, long line through the torso into the hips and the thighs. Stretch behind the knees and point your toes. Keeping the pubic bones, the front of the pelvis on the mat. Exhale, stretch through the back of your legs, and with your glutes, begin pulling the thighs back. That is lifting them up from the ground. Hold the lift, inhale, and exhale to lower. Again, we exhale and use the glutes Stretching the back of the legs, pointing through the toes, lifting, lifting, lifting without using the low back muscles. Hold, inhale, and exhale to lower. Again, please prepare. Exhale, stretch and lift the back of the legs. Keep your inner thighs and keep the tone in the feet as you Kegel, exhale, and lower. And do one more repetition. As the legs come up, feel the increasing requirement for tone in the lower abs to balance the work of the glutes to keep us out of low back compression. And exhale, lower. When the legs are on the ground, keep them there. We've got 3 more extensions, this time through the upper body, really again to find shoulders, hands under the forehead. They can come up with the forehead or remain on the ground. Take a breath. Kegel, exhale, stretch through the legs, keep the feet and legs down, and now float the chest and head up. Hold, inhale, exhale, and lower. 2 more of those. Same basic breath choreography. We're doing the larger lift on the exhale. We're connecting our core. We're finding our length and our strength. Good. 1 more repetition, please. Yes. And when you've lowered from the last one, roll onto your side. Now, I'll give you some options here. If the side bend, we're coming to sort of the last big deal, right? If in your side bend from right where we came up, it was a lot for the shoulder or a lot for the wrist, you're going to stay on your side and lift from here into a side bend. Right?
Are your feet together?
They are. You can't see them because they're so big. They stick off the screen. But yeah.
Okay.
So it is showing again what we would be doing in upright. We just be bending the side of the waist, right, and reaching the arm down. Now, if you would like to try the full side bend, you'll do this version. Whichever one we're doing 4 really good repetitions. So if you're going to be coming up on the arm again, you're doing this version. I'll give you this view. Inhale, if you're on your hip, you're going to lift your arm up. Everyone on the exhale, activate the side of the waist and bend. Inhale, if you're on your feet, lift the arm up. And everyone on the exhale, release the side bend. Make sense? Inhale, prepare, and exhale, bend to the side, either away from the ground, right? I guess in both cases, away from the ground. Inhale, and exhale, return. 2 more, please. That's it. Feel the inner thighs working in both cases to stabilize the stretch of the legs and to support the base of your core in its work. 1 last repetition. Beautiful work, guys. Yes. And when you've done your last one, go ahead and switch sides around. So we are wrapping up class. We're rapidly moving toward the end of our hour. And we're finishing with a big side activation. Right, if you're doing the other side, you want that top foot pressed in front. Yeah. Inhale, bring the arm up. Exhale, push the ground down. Squeezing inner thighs, bending to the side. Inhale, arm comes up. And then exhale. lower, 4 total, whichever version you're doing, right? It could be that you're doing the side lying version. Wow, I'm rolling. Exhale, lower. Good, get that final one done. Yes. And when you're finished, lie on your back. Nice job. Hug your knees into your chest. And just roll a little bit. Nod the head, roll the shoulders. Stretch one leg at a time down. Give yourself another big squeeze. And then stretch out nice and long. Breath in and breath out. Relaxing, right? No particular goal in mind other than that. 2 more of these. You can close your eyes if you like. Soften the muscles of your face and your chest and your hips. Release breath and do 1 more. Okay, good job today, you guys. Have a great Wednesday. See you next time.